Hello everyone, welcome in! It's Corsace Open time again, it's week 1. A few games happening today, play happening this week in the first set of matches for Corsace Open 2024 this year. The next one we got coming up for you is going to be the Irishmen the Third versus Black Belt. Irishmen the Third, this is their second game of the group, looking to try and seal their progression through in a good spot for next week. Black Belt kicking off their campaign this year. I'm Doomsday, I'm glad to be back on, joined by the lovely Vordy. What's going on, mate?
I'm going fantastic, Doomsday. Yeah, interesting matchup. I believe this is the biggest seed difference in group stage that we'll see. I believe it's 5 up against 16. So Irishman 3 being 5th seed, Black Belt being 16th seed. So Black Belt, statistically the underdog here, but honestly, surprising. They have plenty of great players, and especially on a early stage map pool, I think they can do plenty of work here. But it's going to be an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah, they're up against the top seed of the group. It's always going to be a big ask, but I suppose they have the insurance of, depending on how this one goes, they've got the second match to make things happen. But I agree that this is a team that's got a lot of power on the earlier stage pools. So this is where they're going to be the strongest, right? And they should be okay on this pool. It's about just over 7-star pool. A lot of these players should be right at home on that. But they're up against a team of very strong, primarily Korean players who have already dismantled their first opponent. I think they won, I think it was 6-2 against Bottom Gear, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yep.
So they're going to be quite confident.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if Irishmen go for a different picking strategy compared to this team. Yeah, up against Bottom Gear, they protected Hard Rock 2 and then proceeded to just pick all the 3 Hard Rocks all in a row. And they played those maps pretty well. So I wonder, do they go the same strategy here? Or do they go something else? Black Belt protecting No Mod 3, which is interesting. Irishman 3 had a pretty good run on the No Mod 3, I think, having an FC from Doomsday Fanboy. I guess a funny little coincidence here, and some pretty solid backing scores. So they gotta be pretty confident on the No Mod 3 if they think they can beat that.
Yeah, they've got to be. It must be one of their more comfortable maps, I guess. You don't pick that into a team the team with the players that the Irishmen have got, unless you're confident on that map. I think the Hard Rock side of things might be quite interesting here. I think Black Belt got some pretty good scores on the Hard Rock maps in the qualifiers. So they're going to be well versed on that too. Should be a good fight on those picks. I think the Irishmen still have the upper hand. The scores were ahead of theirs, but they were fairly close,
Yeah, I mean, I think the players on Black Belt, from what I recall Zubs being a pretty good Hard Rock player, so Krum W as well, just a really good aim player. So they should have some good Hard Rock, and the Hard Rock is as well for this round is mostly in the Hard Rock 1 slot and Hard Rock 2 slot, pretty generic aim, which I think suits what they'll be good at. And this time, Irishman 3 going for a different strategy, protecting the double time 3. So potentially they're going to lean into their tapping skill and their finger control skill instead of the Hard Rock aim skill, because they look at Black Belt and they see some of the Hard Rock aim players and they're a bit afraid.
I think, I mean, if they've done their research, I think that plays out because I think they've got a good, strong edge on DT and the speed side. That double time 3 isn't really speed though. That's the super control heavy one. But it does telegraph that they might be going into some of that tapping today.
I believe tapping was entirely avoided in their first matchup. They had DT2 banned against them. They banned the No Mod 5s themselves, and then DT3 was just untouched. And obviously DT3 not speedy, but has some trigger control, has some flow aim shenanigans. But let's see what they ban here.
We're thinking, Hard Rock 3 ban. Okay then. Are they afraid of the Hard Rock, or do they just not like that map? Did they pick that last time? I'm not sure.
They did, and I think they had an FC from Restia on the Hard Rock 3. So it's an interesting ban. I mean, the FC could have been you know, maybe if like it's definitely not a map that you'd be able to consistently FC most of the time, but they still had a pretty solid score on it, so I'm surprised to see it banned. I guess it kind of makes sense on paper. Black Belt should be a pretty solid Hard Rock team. They protected the Nomad alt map, and Hard Rock 3 is the Hard Rock alt map, but it's just surprising considering their prior performance.
You're gonna mix it up. They're gonna pick some different things. You know what? I respect it. I respect it. Make use of the full pool, right? That Free Mod 2, that is that's the Nyanara map, isn't it? The sort of anti-mod sort of map. Such a tricky map, that. I'd love to see it played. I wonder how often we're going to see it, because that seems like a really scary one in this pool.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an anti-mod sort of flow aim. It's a bit of a hard map to pin down, but yeah, not going for it. I wonder if that indicates potentially maybe a discomfort for low approach rating. Obviously, being anti-mod, you have to have some low yard players, some on hidden, as well as some hard rock players. I think we should have at least a couple competent hard rock players for it. But yeah, and there's gonna be Irishmen going for No Mod 5, so a map they banned in their last match, now immediately opening with the speed.
Straight into that tap-in, straight into that 240 BPM tap-in style. It's fairly standard for what it is. So if you got a tap-in team, they're going to be right at home on this. So the speed abuse, it's swinging into full motion, it looks like, from the Irishmen.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what roster Black Belt has to go up against it. I mean, I was actually very, very surprised when they banned Mod 5 the first time. I think me and Tig were very confused, because on paper, Irishmen should have a very good tapping roster, and I believe they still do. Maybe they just didn't want to play that match, maybe they weren't warm, but here they are. They should have a great tapping lineup. I believe something like Restia, Spectre, Doomsday Fanboy, Perezia, Zyson, obviously. They should have a solid 4, but at the same time, it's early stage, and Black Belt might have the roster to compete.
Yeah, the rounds, it's early enough where I think the comfy style of tapping map ain't going to be too scary for many teams. I'm sure Black Belt will be able to field a decent roster for it. But if the Irishmen have a 4-man squad that just shreds this, they could pretty consistently post high scores. I suppose we'll see. It's first map nerves and all that. So we'll see how it plays out. But this is usually a comfy spot, right? If you got a speed team, No Mod 5 is like the comfiest place to go.
Yeah, I think I would normally agree. The one spicy thing about this map is it has a few 1/3 sections that get pretty spaced. They're not too uncomfortable, but I could completely imagine a very good tapping player just having their one break on that section.
Oh yeah.
So I'm curious to see if anybody drops their big combo there.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, I remember there's quite a bit of finger control in this as well, I suppose, in the sense of there's a section in the middle with lots of doubles, one after the other. So I suppose, you know what? I suppose it's not quite free speed. You do have that bit in the middle where you do need to control. I did forget about that, actually. Hey, but yeah, maybe those sort of patterns can swing things on maps like this. Let's see how the tapping's doing for Black Belt, though. First map, their first match. Let's see how they do.
We go for Irishmen 3, we got Doomsday Fanboy, MX 10,000, Perezia, and Restia. And for Black Belt, we have Krum W, Rootzap, Victor Skull, and Izzy, or Viter Skull.
Okay, so look at the accuracies. I think there's 3 players on the side of Black Belt struggling a little bit. A couple of players with 80%. No such issues on the side of the Irishmen here. 97s, 98s, and above. They're comfy.
I mean, very, very comfortable. The lowest act being 97, which beats out the highest act on the side of Black Belt. So for a first pick, it looks like they've surgically found the weakness, and right now they are well in the lead, as there's pretty much no combo on the side of Black Belt, and Irishmen are still 4-weighing.
Well, this is I think this is the start that the Irishmen definitely wanted. They are tripling the score almost to Black Belt right now. The speed abuse seems to be working very well, and picking it first before the other team gets a chance to really warm into the match. is just such a power move, dude. You get scorelines like this.
I mean, yeah, no, this is one of the most confident starts I think I've ever seen to a match. Only Prezia finding any misses, but even despite those misses, Prezia is still like 1v3 as the lowest score. I think, three people, like 2 people on the side of Irishmen are currently 1v4ing. This is already done and dusted. I guess it's you can see the awkward section here. MX-10,000 breaks on it, but Restia Doomsday Fanboy still hold.
I think Prezia, did he miss on the doubles, I think? That double control section? Yeah, MX-10,000 with the break there, but it's still 600k. Restia and my boy Doomsday Fanboy still FCing. You'll love to see it. Okay, that's a really good team score though. Great hack from Restia though.
Yeah, I was gonna say Restia's accuracy is phenomenal. And yeah, there it is. Just a fantastic team score. Over 3 million. More than tripling Black Belt score with a very nice FC from Restia and Doomsday Fanboy. Yeah, just a phenomenal start. Solid team score, great carry scores, and I guess they know what their next couple picks should be based on that.
Oh yeah, it does write out in 10-foot Helvetica that they should be picking more speed, and that protected pick does telegraph that. They've stuck with that in the back pocket because that worked out an absolute treat. But what can Black Belt come at them again with? Plenty of room in this match. It's best of 11, first to 6. Plenty of time to try and pull that momentum back.
Yeah, I mean, and fortunately for them, I think the only real tapping heavy map left is DT2, which I assume Irishmen will pick immediately before the next set of bans. But after that, there's really no super tapping heavy maps left, right? You have like DT3, which is protected, it has some finger control. Yeah, Double Time 1, which has some fast triples, but mostly aim focus. So, and because it's first to 6, like, yeah, it's nothing too bad to lose to the tapping picks. They have plenty of other skill sets they can lean into to fire back with.
If they're feeling frisky, they could go into that Hard Rock, which is a pretty decent place for them, especially with the map styles, right, that you mentioned earlier, Vordy. I totally think it's a good place for them to go. I know, yeah, the Irishmen kind of abused that in their last matchup, but I feel like you just got to pick your strong maps, man. Maybe they could open up straight up with that No Mod 3 and just swing the momentum immediately, but we'll see if they want to save that for later, maybe.
Yeah, I think with this format where you have a second set of bans, I think it's probably best to... Actually, no. They go for the No Mod 3 right away. Also understandable. I think we saw this last time. Bottom gear first picking their protect. And I think the strategy there is you just get a point on the board. If you get have a confident map as your first pick, you kind of counter the momentum. Start off the match in a strong way.
I think after such a big loss on that one, though, even if it is only one map, and they probably expected to drop the speed pick, it's not a bad idea to get that, I guess, that mental edge back on your strongest map. So fair enough. You either pick it first or you save it for when you're really in a bother. Picking it first is fine. It's quite a mixed ult map, this as well. Lots of flow aim, but lots of that snappy aim as well. Lots of variable spacing changes, so quite control heavy, this, isn't it?
Yeah, relatively low BPM for an ult map as well. I think one of the players on Irishmen last time, I think it was MX-10,000, was almost single tapping it the whole way through, but yeah, just a classic ult map, nothing too unusual. I believe last time for Irishmen, Doomsday Fanboy managed to get a full combo, which is pretty fantastic. We'll see if they can do it again if lightning strikes twice, but a couple misses out the gate from MX-10,000, Perezia, and Izzy.
At the moment, I'll take the same suspects carrying very early on, but it's very early days. A little advantage as well here for the blue side in Black Belt. Accuracy looking pretty decent. Zap getting the break there. 2 FCs to 2. Oh, 2 FCs to 1 actually. There goes Restia as well.
That's the start Black Belt needs. currently 2 FCs to 1 in favor of Black Belt Kurumi W and Il Boss Del Poppin. Still holding both on pretty comfortable accuracies as well. Doomsday Fanboy trying to hold it off though.
Yeah, it's a really good start here for Black Belt. Really good start from them. It's just Doomsday Fanboy to hold the fort. Parisi is recovering very nicely, holding decent ack as well. The reverse choke classic. Oh, big chain miss there from Izzy. Still 2 FCs to 1, but it's pretty even now with the recoveries. Dead even, I think.
Yeah, the scores for Black Belt are really resting on these two full combos as Izzy and Utsap don't seem as comfortable, and that miss from Il Boss Del Poppin is going to be devastating for them. This is now just Kurumi W to hold onto that full combo, but now you have Doomsday Fanboy matching and then Perezia on a nice recovery and the rest of the team doing pretty well.
That's really unfortunate, man. That's so unfortunate. That linear just catching out Del Poppin there. They're not too far away though. Kurumi can still hold the fort, but the late surge here from the Irishmen looking pretty good. They're bedded in now on that aim. All 4 players holding very nice combos now.
Yeah, I mean, this team combo total from Irishman 3 is quite ahead of Black Belt right now. Black Belt is going to need to find some drops. And there it is, Perezia, Restia missing, but matched by Izzy and Utsap. However, Kurumi W still holding, but Doomsday Fanboy once again on a full combo. But Black Belt wants him to drop if they want a chance here.
Yeah, it's all on Doomsday Fanboy to drop if they have a chance now. 300k is a lot. Approaching the end of the map actually, and I think it might be too little too late. Just great recoveries here from the Irishmen after the early jokes. They just found the comfort on the style and just locked in, man. The Doomsday Fanboy, at the moment, still hasn't missed yet. I've seen the last one and is FCing this one, it looks like. There goes Kurumi, he's down, but what a great score from Kurumi. Not enough though.
And Doomsday Fanboy? What? FCs again? Wow,
and another
2
one.
FCs. Absolutely consistency machine on this No Mod 3, making the name proud.
Yeah, man, that's... Yep, no misses. This is no miss Sunday here for Doomsday Fanboy. Another big carry performance, but the team score was just pretty solid across the board as well, with all 4 players holding nice combos. Another 99% from Restia as well. Another great accuracy run from him.
Yeah, good effort from Kurumi W as well, holding that S rank, almost getting that full combo, but I think even had the full combo would have been enough. Just the overall team score, yeah, from, as you mentioned, from Irishmen 3, just too solid, especially with that repeat full combo from Doomsday Fanboy.
That was the protected pick from Black Belt, but it didn't work out. It looked pretty good though. They were pretty solid. Just unfortunately found a few chokes in the middle really, but they did look pretty comfy on that style. It does open up some of the other control picks. That DT3 is quite control heavy. Maybe they could work with that. Maybe they can compete on it, maybe. But dropping your first protected pick is gonna sting.
Yeah, not the ideal way to start out. And I assume Irishmen just pick double time 2 here. Because if they don't, I imagine that just gets immediately banned in the second set of bans here. And considering how, astronomically ahead they were in the No Mod 5, I can't imagine it goes significantly different on the double time 2. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, they are going for the jugular here. And I mean, why not? Why not? Because, yeah, you guarantee it would just be destroyed if they hadn't picked it here. It's low BPM, though. It's 225 as opposed to that 240, but it's still very much stamina heavy. The satellite classic, if you will.
Yeah, pretty, obviously more stamina heavy compared to the speed of No Mod 5, a bit lower BPM. But still obviously tests the similar skill set of your tapping hand. And considering how good Irishman 3 looked on the No Mod 5, especially in comparison to Black Belt, can't imagine things are going to go too differently. I mean, we'll see that maybe Black Belt feels better on stamina compared to higher BPM, but I think the two maps are close enough that there shouldn't be too big of a comfort difference.
We'll see if they've pulled something out of their locker. Maybe they've got some of those speed players in the back warming up the tapping while this one's going on. Because, I mean, yeah, they probably saw this pick coming, right? Maybe they've got some players in the back trying to warm up for this. And like I say, sometimes 240 can be just about out of reach, but 225 can be alright for some players if it's just on that edge. We'll see how it works out in practice, but yeah, it's still going to be an uphill battle, I agree.
That is a good point. Sometimes that extra 10-15 BPM can be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Mm.
If you're black belt, you kind of hope so. If you want a chance here.
It's going to be the same roster that plays this one, though. Where's my MB? I take it will be the same players that played that No Mod 5 playing this, right?
I think so. From what I remember, I believe these are the same rosters for both teams.
Checking the MP command. That is not the MP for this one, but yeah, it looks like it's the same for, isn't it, sir? Is he dropping some ack on that long stream there? Everyone else holding through. There's a break from Doomsday Fanboy. It's his first break of the match.
I think it was the reverse going into the stream. I think maybe just finding a slider break there. That was actually a pretty awkward pattern. Bootsap as well dropping, but Black Belt is looking a lot better on this map than they look in the Mod 5. So your theory about the BPM difference being the comfort maker was true. Over Irishmen 3 still quite in the lead. Holding an extra full combo and nice little act difference as well.
And there is some certified combo gaming occurring, but as long as they don't miss, they are going to have a chance. Their opponents, though, look really comfy too. Uatzap gets that break. They're down to 2 FCs now. Still 3 FCs on the side of it, the Irishmen, and they're all on very high accuracies.
Doomsday Fanboy breaking as well, but some of the big combo for Irishmen 3 still MX 10,000 Crazy University holding. Fighter Skill and Kurumi W though, unlike No Mod 5 where pretty much nobody was holding for the team at this point, those two combos are still big. Fortunately though, Utzap and Izzy are finding some struggles.
Like any major chokes though on the side of the Irishmen. It really feels like if they miss, it is going to be a proper like aim choke. Is it going to happen? It looks so comfy on that No Mod 5, and they're looking so comfy here as well. There goes Vita Skull though. It's only Kurumi now. I don't think Kurumi's going to be able to do this on his own. He'll try though.
He'll try to get a similar situation to the No Mod 3. Kurumi W holding, but there's not enough team score. I mean, yeah, there is the drop as well. Pretty much seals the deal. A million score in the lead for Irishmen 3 as they're looking once again super comfortable. Doomsday Fanboy still recovering and the team still holding that 3-way.
98s on those FCs. Doomsday Fanboy with the 800 combo recovering very nicely. It's just another really good team score, man. It's hard to beat a score like this. No matter who you are, really. Just fantastic speed stamina play from this team today.
Yeah, I mean that is a phenomenal score. No matter, yeah, I mean that score line 4 million would beat out so many teams, even the top 4 seeded teams who we're not seeing in this stage. I think I don't know how often they'll beat the score line 4 million. Fantastic. Black Belt, you know, putting up a stronger fight here for sure compared to the Mod 5, but yeah, I mean, what can you do here?
Not a lot. Not a lot. It's a great attempt from Kurumi and Vita Skull there with super high combos. Did really well to combo that much of the map. But it's just, what can you do against that? What can you do?
I mean, I guess what you can do is just 4-way FC instead. I think it's really the only real counter.
Yeah, true. Yeah, just don't miss.
Just don't miss. Just have 4 players simultaneously full combo. That's how you beat 3 players comboing in a good recovery.
Black Belt's second pick then, just before we get into the next set of bands. The control pick was their protected pick in that No Mod 3. Didn't work out, but they looked pretty comfortable on it. Hard Rock 3 is banned, so they haven't got that.
I think so far that No Mod 3 was the closest they got to getting a point. So if you want to stay in the control category, I mean, you have Hidden 3, but obviously that's Hidden. I don't know how comfortable they are on Hidden, considering the Free Mod 2 ban. Maybe not so much. Other than that, you have No Mod 4 if you want to stay into the No Mod control category. That's the closest you're going to get to.
I think Hidden, at least looking at the qualifier scores, I don't think Hidden's their favorite mod, but then again, I don't think the Irishmen scored super highly on that either, or at least much higher. So maybe it might be a bit of a wild card to go into. Maybe that Hidden 3 could be a shout.
And they go No Mod 1.
No Mod 1 alert. Certified aim players in the lobby right now. Yeah, this isn't like super comfy aim though, right? This is like quite awkward aim for No Mod 1 that they've got into here.
Yeah, this is a kind of No Mod 1 you would expect out of like aim patterns you'd expect out of a Hidden 1 instead of a No Mod 1. Sort of a bit of awkward angles, linears, kind of anti-aim, but obviously without Hidden, a lot more comfortable to play, not super low AR as well. But I do recall when I watched this being played yesterday, some players missing from the, less comfortable patterns. And we did see Irishmen play. They almost lost this to Bottom Gear, but still put up a pretty solid team score, 2 700Ks and 2 600Ks. So Black Belt know that going in, but they have a pretty good aim lineup. So, and especially when you're down 3-0, you gotta go for something volatile sometimes.
Yeah, man. There's not many teams that are very comfy. They're not too happy when they see No Mod 1. So to rock the boat a little bit, it is a good one to go for, especially when you're against your opponent who are kind of shredding the maps they're playing in the maps we've seen so far. Could throw them off the game a little bit. We'll soon see. We'll soon see.
Yeah, potentially. And I think the number one is also a good strategy because it opens up a category of maps that hasn't really been touched yet, which is the 1 slots. So if you win the number 1, you got Hard Rock 1, potentially Hidden 1 if they feel decent on the Hidden, and maybe even DT 1. So if you like the strategy, if you're thinking long term about winning the match, winning this pick would be a entryway to do it.
That definitely gives me like vibes of, I guess, the famous sort of Russian community mappers. Necroman, I guess, is part of that, and you can definitely see that in this with the awkward aim shape it takes. Very sort of Evil Elvis-ish.
Yeah, I was about to say Evil Elvis is. Yeah, this reminds me of maps like that. I can't imagine how much harder this map would be with Hidden.
God, it'd be nasty. I mean, the AR is thankfully like relatively high, right?
Yeah,
but still. There's a couple early breaks here from the side of the Irishmen. Just one on the side of Izzy. The accuracy is carrying them through, but very even start. Very even start. Both players trading a little bit here and there.
I'm pretty balanced. Also, point to note, I don't think... Payne not on the roster for Irishmen 3, and I believe they were the top performer on the team last time for this map, so maybe just not here today, but I'm sure with how stacked the team is, they'll have plenty of other players who can play No Mod 1 pretty well. But so far, no misses. Yeah, I can imagine seeing one soon. Izzy and Utsab dropping. That leaves Kurumi W and Ilboss. They'll pop in once again as the 2 remaining full combos.
It's looking like a similar setup to what we saw on that No Mod 3 for Black Belt. The 2 FCs, same ones that held through a lot of that one. They're going to have to do it again here. And again, the Irishmen, a couple of early misses, but apart from that, they've settled in nicely.
All of Irishmen getting through that first difficult section, and all of those extra supporting combos that aren't really matched by Black Belts are going to do a lot of work for them. His Doomsday Fanboy and MX-10,000 are still holding those full combos to the match. Kurumi W and Bosta popping.
Oh, those 100s on that stream.
Gets through it there.
Getchy. Oh, Crazy gets the break there for the Irishman. The advantage now, I think, is with Black Belt slightly. They've got score to make up. And this Ki does not let up. The FC drops. It's just Kurumi left. So now they've lost that advantage.
Yeah, it's a rough FC drop. The chance was kind of there with Crazy dropping. But now, once again, it's just Kurumi W. Seems like we've been in this situation, I think this is the third time now, maybe? Where Kurumi is the last FC for their team. And Irishmen, unfortunately, is holding so many more combos.
Yeah, man, they've got 2 FCs, they've got Restia coming back. They've got so much insurance, man. Another close one, but Kurumi is hoping for a 4-way break or bust soon. Here comes a Ki though, will it happen?
And looking so good here. I think they're already on pace to outperform their last team score. Oh, look at all these awkward patterns. Kurumi breaks, Boss Pop and also drops, and now it's just ASB on a 700 combo, but meanwhile Irishmen are still holding on to 2 FCs and a big recovery from Restia. That pretty much seals the deal.
That was a pretty nasty part of the map, man. Izzy getting through that was pretty sick, but the entire team getting through on the Irishmen. These guys are very, very strong. I'd say they're one of the favourites for the whole tournament, and on the basis of this, they might be able to have a nice run through here, but at the moment they are looking super dominant here for you.
And I think we might see double FC here. Hopefully I don't curse at the outro. No, MX-10,000 breaks the Doomsday Fanboy. Once again, doing you proud, Doomsday, with another full combo in this match.
Let's go. That's another one. That's 3 out of 4 FCs for Doomsday Fanboy, and the one map he broke was like a reverse choke sort of thing. Yeah, so far so good here for the heavily Korean team. That accuracy from MX-10,000 was kind of sick as well. At 4 100s. Just I think it was a cut stream at the end, wasn't it, that he broke on? Looked like it. Or set triples, one of the two.
One of the two, but yeah, another fantastic performance from Irishman 3 on Black Belt's pick as well. Now up 4-0 into the second set of bans here. So looking pretty rough for Black Belt, and I mean, it's not much you can do. Irishmen have just been playing out of their mind, especially off multiple FCs from Doomsday Fanboy. Not much he can do about that. It's really, I mean, like, this is early stage, but these maps are still really challenging. 7 stars with sometimes non-conventional patterns. It's not very easy to FC these in match at all.
Not at all, no, not at all. I think one of the features I find for Corsace map pools is even the standard maps have like a USP to them, like a unique selling point of something tricky to trip you up in every single map. So it is hard to get multiple FCs on anything, and it only gets trickier as the tournament goes on, obviously. God, in terms of bans though, if they're banning speed, maybe DT1 might be the shout. That's quite speed heavy. It's got quite a heavy burst element to it. What do you think?
I think I agree. That's really the only, I mean, because it's a DT1, obviously it's focused on aim, but it has plenty of triples mixed into the aim. And if you're not comfortable with hitting those triples, hitting those bursts at like 260 plus BPM, it's going to be a tough map, even if you're good at the aim, and they go for that ban, so presumably agree.
Yeah, DT1 has been nuked from high orbit. Followed up by the free mod one, which I actually quite like that map. It might be my favorite map in the whole pool. Not gonna see it though. It's the ult heavy, kind of control heavy free mod.
Yeah, I want to see that map be played just for the modded players. I think on Hidden and Hard Rock especially, it is so challenging.
That one really reminds me of I don't remember the name of the song, but it's like that Gera Gera song, the Nathan map. It gives me super strong vibes of that.
Kan Saite Kuishiwa, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that one. I only remember the Twitter clip once. It's that one though.
Do agree. I actually think that artists like Zutemeo in general have the kind of maps you see having patterns like this free mod one.
DT3 is still a thing?
Yeah, actually, you're right. DT3 is still a thing. Would make sense to go. They go for Hidden 2 instead, which is an interesting pick because it is the map they lost the point to against Bottom Gear. They played pretty okay though, and they did have Crazy as the top performer in that lobby. But I do think, as you mentioned, Black Belt maybe not as comfortable on the Hidden, and they did ban the free mod too. So that being the anti-mod free mod, Hidden 2 potentially being a bit of a counter pick here.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense after like that low AR ban. And picking it now, like later on into the match, maybe when they're maybe a little bit under pressure, I suppose, with that 4-0 lead that the Irishmen have, might be a good time to pick it because you really need patience on a map like this. It's very, very low AR and it's very low BPM. If you rush it, you can drop a ton of AC, if not break. So you do have to be in a pretty decent mindset to be comfortable on this.
Yeah.
Oh, go on.
I was gonna say, especially with the stats on this map, I believe it's like CS 5.8, AR 7.7 from what I remember. So it's very, very awkward. Especially having a lot of square jumps really just accentuates how hard AR8s already tend to be, and all those extra additions just make it even more brutal. Like I would say probably one of the hardest maps to FC in the pool, for sure.
Also quite hard to AC in general because it's quite high OD. I think it's like OD 9, and seeing high OD on low AR maps isn't terribly common. And without the visual feedback to help you AC, that OD 9 gets quite hard to accuracy.
I guess the one benefit of high OD is it's going to be harder to note lock. So there is some silver lining.
There is that. I'm not sure how much you can note lock on this though. It's quite low BPM.
Not too much, yeah. Early breaks though, Zyson, Izzy, and Ilboss still pop in. Utsap as well. Now just Shinkiro. I think this is Shinkiro's first map of the match from what I can recall.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I don't think I've seen him yet. Actually a very strong tournament player. Cool to see him play here.
A bit of a 1v1 here between Crazy and Shinkiro. Crazy though on phenomenal accuracy. Seemed like the most comfortable player the last time I saw this map, and looking that way once again.
I think this is a good time to mention Crazy being a very, very old school player. Yeah. Not a stranger to low AR. Does get the miss though, so Shinkiro now with an opportunity.
Unfortunately though, does find a break. I was about to say, had Shinkiro held on, there was definitely a chance here for like a very decisive breakpoint, but now pretty evened out. However, with all those misses from the side of Black Belt, those drops are causing the score to flicker more to the side of Irishmen. Not too far in the lead, especially with those breaks. Kind of a bit of a slugfest right now with all these drops. And to see how tough this map is.
Yeah, no one is comfortable. But no one's comfortable when like you're playing a map like this with these odd diff settings. Even though it's so slow and like 5.2 stars mechanically, it's so gimmicky. And it does show. The accuracies as well tell a story. I think the OD really plays into that as well. Even if you know what you're doing, it's easy to just mistime your taps when you don't have the visuals to go with it.
Yeah, and Crazy, the notable outlier in terms of act comfort. Restia matching Shinkiro. Irishman still holding that lead.
But I reckon there's so much score in the accuracy from Crazy. That 98% is doing so much work on School V2, man. And with the combo as well. Really is making it work here.
Utsap also building up some nice combo, but pretty much being matched by Rusty, especially with that break. And now it looks like Irishmen just to close it out. Restia does break, but Crazy still holding a huge recovery. And yeah, just phenomenal accuracy. This map is so tough to act, as you can see from everybody else.
It was I think on paper, like, that score lead looks pretty small, but I think it's the one player difference, man. The one player. The Irishmen had the one player that was far more comfortable than everyone else, and that made such a difference. It's another great score on this from Crazy. Nice 500k. But Shinkiro as well coming in, posting a solid 94% as well. 360k is quite good for this. But just a good pick. They had the players to deal with this.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's mostly that Crazy difference. I believe Zyson and Perezia both being lower in terms of score than anybody on the side of Black Belt. So Black Belt actually having the more, I guess, cohesive team, but Crazy being the outlier, and then Resty as well, just beating out Shinkiro makes the difference. But that's now match point. Irishmen up 5-0.
I just want to do a quick shout out to Crazy. It's really cool to see him playing so well at like the top level of tournaments now. Man's been around like since the score ranking days. He has been around forever, but he's still playing so well. You love to see it.
I think I remember looking when I was like looking through the history of OWC. I recall Crazy showing up like really early on, like one of the first few. It is awesome to see like this, you know, this many years in the future, still carrying one of the top seeded teams in the tournament to victory on a pick.
How can Black Belt respond to that though? It's 5-0. Their first matchup right now is not going too well for them, but their opponents playing the way they are, one of the favorites, are showing why they are. But can they find something to combat them here? I mean, in terms of control, what's much left? They did go into the No Mod 1. Maybe they can go into something else like Amy, but they're not going to. It's No Mod 4. Okay.
Yep. No Mod 4 was a pick I was thinking of when they were about, but right before they picked No Mod 1, just as a similar map to No Mod 3, which was one of their better maps at the time. Considering how close the Hidden 2 was, and the fact that they seemingly like to play ult, I was thinking Hidden 3 could be an option, but No Mod 4 also works here.
I suppose the sort of slider techie style is something we haven't really seen at all this matchup, so it's a new thing. It's a new thing, and with the right teams, it can be kind of a comfy thing. I guess this map is less about the high SV sort of Halgo-esque style. It's more about like kick sliders and aim control on like 1-4 bursts and things, rather than just pure slider tech. So they have good players on this style, and with it being such an early round one, they can probably build a really good 4 for this.
Yeah, it's not as slider heavy as you mentioned as some Halgo maps can be. Definitely more focused on flow aim cut streams. Which I guess is like the two main varieties of tech, is either super slider heavy or more cut stream heavy.
I suppose you can kind of count that 3 mod 1 in somewhat like that, because that, I guess, is kind of cut stream heavy on like low BPM. To draw parallels there. It's a different sort of map, but that ban might telegraph that they're a bit spooked on cut stream style. Who knows? Let's see.
Here we see Pain coming in for their first map of the match.
So he's around then. Maybe he was just warming up or joined late. He didn't appear in for
Number 1.
Number 1. Yeah.
To be fair, the team did quite well in No Mod 1 as well, so
Yeah.
can't really fault that. Unfortunately, a couple breaks. It was a little bit in favor of Black Belt in terms of combos there, with Kurumi W and Vider still breaking. Now just leaves Ilboss L popping as the last full combo. Not on the most comfy act. Actually, not a full combo, a recovery, but still pretty close. Meanwhile, I think Doomsday Fanboy and Resty is still holding. And all S ranks for Irishman 3.
Slider maps be like. But hey, you know, Del Poppins coming for these control maps, he's done really well. He's had a good game in terms of the maps he's played, but he's got to find something here to keep his team in it. Big drop at the end now, Pain drops. Doomsday Fanboy and Restia still going though, and as long as they hold, it's going to be curtains for Black Belt here.
Yeah, Black Belt needs some breaks soon from Irishman 3, and unfortunately with that break from Il Docile Poppin, I think that spells doom for their team, as Doomsday Fanboy once again and Resty as well on 99% AC, still holding those full combos.
99% from Restia, man. How does he do it? No, this isn't super crazy on like the slider aim, but still, rock solid AC on this. Doomsday Fanboy once again. There's that slider. Of course, it killed everyone. 4 players breaking on it.
Doomsday Fanboy. Doomsday Fanboy knew that slider, and once again pulls off another full combo. Huge accuracy from Resty though. Lots of S ranks.
Look at all those S ranks. Literally only one like circle break in the room. That's kind of crazy. What the hell? How did that happen?
That's actually that's kind of mental.
That's 6 slider break only runs. That's insane. You know who else is insane? Doomsday Fanboy, who played so well today. So many FCs. And the Irishmen 3, 6-0, clean as you like. They've won both of their matches in the group. They're through to round 2 next week in the top bracket. And on the basis of that, they are going to go quite far, I think.
Yeah, fantastic performances. I think they had solid scores on pretty much every skill set. I think if there was a skill set they didn't perform as well in their 2 matches, maybe hidden, but so good on the hard rock, the no mods, the tapping. I think they have so many tools in their disposal to go far in this tournament. And Black Belt's still not out of it. I believe it'll really come down to their match against Bottom Gear, which of those 2 end up advancing as well. But yeah, GG's for Irishman 3.
GG's. So yeah, plenty of time for Black Belt to try and pull it through. As long as they avoid being the bottom team in their group, they can progress. There's 3 teams in a group. Top 2 go through, so they can still bank that 2nd spot in their group. But for now, though, I think we're going to a little bit of a break until the next game in 13 minutes' time, so not very long to wait there. That's going to be between Roblox Kirby and Grease Monkey Deluxe, who are an ever-present team in Corsace.
Yeah. The return of Grease Monkey Deluxe.
Hell yeah. Be good casting with you, Vordy, man. Cheers for the cast.
Yeah, always lovely casting with you, and yeah, see you all in 13 minutes.